Studios. Our friends at Iconic Brands brought us down a whole load of new spirits. We're going to be trying them out as the day goes by. The Dow Jones, as we speak, is up 115, which is good news. Bitcoin is on a tear at 9,300. We'll talk about that a little later in the second hour. But now, for impeachment, for the 2020 election and all that great stuff, there's nobody better in the leadoff spot on Women Wednesday than one of our first and very, very early guests and a big friend of the show, Jen Kearns, joins us. Hi, Jen.
Great to be with you.
Same
Hi, John.
to you. So, Jen, there's so much going on out there. We have the whole impeachment saga carrying on. Then also we have Bernie surging in the polls. What's the main thing you can impart on our audience? You're a former spokesperson for the state of California Republican Party. You also wrote the questions and the stuff for the Fox News debate. So you've been around this presidential stuff. What's the big thing you heard out of impeachment?
Well, look, the big thing out of impeachment is that it does not hurt President Trump at all. In fact, we're seeing an uptick in his approval ratings. So I think this is a huge backfire on the Democrats. If you see the rally in New Jersey last night, the president had crowds waiting for miles for him in a state that recently just took back a red congressional member. It's going well for President Trump. New poll out this week shows his approval rating is the highest yet and far surpassed Barack Obama's approval rating at this point in his presidency. Now, what I'm hearing this morning, you know, I talk frequently with members of the Trump legal impeachment team.
Oh, boy. Give us some inside info.
I am
pay attention.
Hearing
Somebody's buying drinks.
Two things today, and that is that the Republicans will likely try to negotiate some sort of witness package so that they can negotiate an entire package of witnesses to move forward. So if they say, hey, if we're hearing any witnesses, here are the witnesses we're going to hear, vote that up or down. That might be one strategy.
Oh, no.
The other strategy, though, and I think it's a good one for the Trump campaign, is they might actually legally challenge this, take it outside to the courts. This decision on whether or not to hear witnesses might go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. And because the impeachment battle is actually helping Donald Trump in the polls, if you have a longer, protracted legal battle that goes all the way to the Supreme Court and then he's exonerated, it actually helps Trump going into the fall season.
That's beautiful.
Yep.
That would be right up Trump's alley.
It would.
Right?
He could play the sympathetic character.
Last night he was in Wildwood, right?
Yep.
Now, on TV, when they show you a Trump rally, they show you like on those other left-wing channels, like right up on Trump.
Right.
They don't show you how full the room is.
Right.
And they never show you a wide shot of what's happening outside.
Right.
There were, by all accounts, more than 100,000 people showed up to a stadium that only fits 7,500. Right. So now he's gonna go out there on the campaign trail and he's gonna talk about the witch hunt. It's still on. They're still after me. They won't leave me alone.
Right.
We have the majority. They still want to force us. Why are they doing this? They're taking it to the Supreme Court. We control the Supreme Court. Why are they doing this to me? They want to see me out. They don't want me doing what I'm doing. Economy, this, that, the other thing.
And I think you see his approval rating rising because people do feel sympathetic for him. You look at the shenanigans that are going on in the U.S. Senate. These are witnesses that the House could have called when they were fully in charge of the impeachment process.
Right.
So I think the American people are seeing this transparent effort by the Democrats to make drama in the Senate chamber when it's the exact same thing they could have done in the lower house. You have other stuff going on around the country. Last night in the great state of Texas, I know you guys had the Texas GOP chairman on.
Yep.
Last night was a huge victory for Republicans in Texas. There was a key House race in their HD 28 that
was blue. And they wanted to turn it red, right?
Yes, and they said, the Democrats said, everyone from Beto to Bernie to Elizabeth Warren to Bernie Sanders, you name it, all went into that race and campaigned there.
Yep.
And that's key for 2020, the presidential race.
National folks went in on a state legislative race.
Yep, and they said this is going to turn blue, and this will be the first momentum to start to flip Texas to blue. It didn't happen last night, and in fact, John, the race wasn't even close. It was almost a 20-point blowout. The Republican beat the Democrat there outside of Houston. This is key for Women Wednesday because suburban women voters outside of Houston were the key
Here
to
we
this
go.
victory.
Now, Jen, you were with us from the very beginning when our humble studio was in the spare bedroom of my apartment.
That's
okay?
right.
We've been growing, progressing, punching our way through the little engine that could. Today is the first day, you may notice, that we have a brand new set there with the whole logo and all this other good stuff. We're going to try another magic trick right now. We're going to try to cut over to Frankie and get him on this discussion because he doesn't want to talk about impeachment, but I know he does want to talk about the elections and the 2020 primaries and stuff. So now that we're done with the impeachment, can we do it, Bri? Can we bring Frankie into this segment? Let's go for it. There you go.
All right, here I am. It's an honor to be here.
This I love.
Someone's head is bigger than mine.
Great.
Wow.
Go back to that.
Yes.
I think that's great, Bri.
It's
Put
like
that
God
back.
speaking.
Put that back. It looks so good. It looks so good. He looks like God's. Okay, let's bring in Frankie on this one.
Yes. All right. Well, it's great to see you, Jen. Congratulations on that big victory in Texas for all of Team GOP. I know the Republicans were looking at this as sort of a bellwether for the rest of the nation. I am curious, my mind is not going to change on impeachment, irrespective of witnesses. I don't think any of the Democrats that are inclined to convict the president, I don't think any of their minds are going to change. I don't think any of the Democrats that voted against Trump in 2016 are going to see their minds change. So politically, irrespective of whether there end up being witnesses or not witnesses, politically, what do you think the net effect is? Who benefits, if anyone?
Well, certainly President Trump is already proving to benefit. You saw a poll out this week that shows his approval rating is the highest yet in his administration, far surpasses George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and even Bill Clinton at this point in his first term. So the net benefit here is to President Trump, and it's because he's able to turn on a dime in this crazy news cycle.
Yep.
He's able to just keep going out there, and he never gave up the one thing that former presidents gave up, which is speaking directly to the American people.
He's good at that.
He's good at that.
Really
he never
good at
gave
that.
up his Twitter account, and that has paid off in dividends during this impeachment trial, because even as his own team is arguing this case, even as Senate Republicans and House Republicans are arguing this case, Donald Trump has been really the chief messenger.
He's out there like pounding it on the stump. He's just like, that's like the worst thing they could do is hand him something to run on,
Yep.
and then let him go do what he loves doing best, which is traveling around in front of big crowds and getting them riled up. It's like,
But Frank
they
does have
handed
a
this.
point. It is interesting. Only 4% of Americans, they say, are undecided on impeachment. And so think of how much the news cycle is catering to 4% of the American population. It's not very much, but it is a powerful group. And those are the districts where Senator Collins and Romney and all those folks lie.
So let me go back to what you were saying on the package of witnesses. Why we have 4 people who are ready to vote against it? Is that the problem?
We don't. We know that Mitt Romney is likely to vote for
okay.
witnesses.
That dashes any future career hopes for him.
Correct.
If they weren't dashed already.
Yes, I loved that
And by
Frank
the
pointed
way,
out he's a
I'm
three-time
sorry,
loser.
Jen, I just want to tell you, we passed a rule yesterday that Mitt Romney is no longer to be referred to as Mitt on this show. We're calling him Willard. So just
No, we're not calling it.
that's his name. His name is Willard.
We're not calling him a name.
We're going with Willard.
Name's
So
Willard.
we know Willard's not on the
And then there are 3 others, Senator Collins, Lisa Murkowski among those. And the reason
Collins.
you need 4, you would only usually need 3, but because of how the Senate's structured, you would have a tie-breaking vote.
Pence.
John Roberts is likely not to interject into that. John Roberts would be the tie-breaking vote. He's likely to abstain. Here's the interesting scoop. I'll close with this. They say as of this morning, there are several, the word was used, several Democrats who are actually looking at total acquittal and not voting on witnesses. So that is a twist. We may not even need Mitt Romney. And wouldn't that be the ironic twist?
Right.
Which would put you guys in the same company as the rest of the country. Certainly
need Mitt
in the
Romney.
rest of the
Yeah,
company of
exactly.
the 2012 Electoral College and the 2008 Republican delegates.
Yeah.
True.
Willard is going to have a big problem on his hands, if you ask me. Even in Utah, him being a Mormon, I think.
Did you see he snuck in chocolate milk yesterday?
I did
you
not
see that?
I did
Yes.
not notice
Okay.
that.
And
I
look,
did not
I'm
notice
familiar
that.
with the whole Mitt Romney crowd, all of their advisors. They're the same advisors who advised Meg Whitman's horrible, awful campaign in California. I was there as a witness to it. Those advisors all need to go. They're the ones in Mitt Romney's ear. That's the real problem.
This is the inside scoop. She knows all the insiders, but she's one of us. She's one of the regular people, that's for sure. Jen Kearns, thank you. You're the
Thank you
best.
so much.
You're gonna hang around for a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
of
We're gonna
course.
talk about our new creative project we're working on. Can I say it or no?
It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything yet. We're gonna talk about it. But there's a lot of stuff going on out there with your money. And we talked about that a lot yesterday, 2 days ago on Money Monday. But Chris Burns is coming up next. He's the CEO of Dynamic Money. And we're going to be talking about what's happening with your portfolio, the markets, and even see what his thoughts are on some Bitcoin. We'll take a quick break. You stay right there. More Liquid Lunch right after this.